be interesting. Frank and Candid is next, man. Frank and Candid is next. Take care of yourself. Have a great weekend, man.
All right, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Frank and Candid. It is Friday, and as we say, TGIF. It is the beginning of a brand new month as well. Where did the time go? September is gone. Just now 21 will be gone. So, hope all is well. Set for the weekend. Let's go to the news. On Wednesday this week, Barbados's Parliament unanimously approved a constitutional reform to turn the country into a republic and end its association with the British Crown. In addition to revoking the 1966 Order of Barbados as an order in Her Majesty's Council, the constitutional reform establishes that a Barbadian should be head of state instead of Queen Elizabeth II. In the future, the inhabitants will no longer swear allegiance to Her Majesty, but to the state of Barbados and the continuity of its institutions. The new legal status will take effect as of November 30th. In Barbados, the dialogue to effect the transition from a situation of dependence on the Crown to a parliamentary republic began in 1998. During an intervention before the legislature, Prime Minister Mia Mottley stated that the constitutional reform closes the discussion on the independence of the country. Parliament's vote tells the world that we have the confidence in ourselves to be fully responsible for who we are and what we do, she said. Mottley and the opposition leader will make a nomination for president for Barbados, and then an election date will be set. Later, the authorities will inform the citizens when the new president will be sworn in. The constitutional reform eliminates the figure of British head of state for Barbados, which has been in force since the English landed on Barbados in 1625. Although Barbados ceased to be a British colony in 1966, it remained tied to Buckingham Palace ever since. Barbados fully underway, now legal, now voted by Parliament, fully on the way to republic status as of November 30th, 2021. A British government's plan to drop a 10-day quarantine requirement for fully vaccinated travelers arriving from Europe, North America, and a handful of Asian, Middle Eastern, and Caribbean countries, but excluding vaccinated Africans, Indians, Latin America, and other low and middle income nations, that has been met with confusion and condemnation alongside calls for calm and clarity. The new rules, set to take effect on Monday, October 4th, will discriminate between the recipients of COVID-19 vaccines, not based on the vaccines received, but on the region in which these vaccines were received, a development which the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention described as deeply concerning. We are deeply concerned that policies and rules such as this carry a risk of deepening vaccine hesitancy across Africa and creates distrust in the community. That's according to Africa CDC's statement. World Health Organization are still seeking some clarification. The program area manager for immunization said the global health body is still seeking to clarify what are the issues here. We are still consulting to find out what the real issue is. It looks like the issue is not the vaccine itself, but the documentation around the vaccine. It told Health Policy Watch in response to a question at the World Health Organization African Region briefing just yesterday. The situation is proving to be a major embarrassment for the UK, which is a leading contributor to the COVAX Global Vaccine Facility, a crucial source of vaccine for African countries. Let's look at what's happening around us in the news to date. Today is Friday, and as usual, it's an open Friday where you're free to tell us what's on your mind, raise issues that you may not have been able to raise during the week due to specified topics. It's open to you. Keep it respectful and clean. We can also go back and look at some of the things we talked about during the week. We talked about food security. We talked about the divisive politics. We talked about the overseas vote debate, constitutional reform, and all of that we'll discuss this week. So, feel free to call us on any of those topics or another one of your choosing if it is you feel it's important to you and of national interest. 465-2555 is the local number. 718-577-2916 is a North American number if that's more convenient for you. With that, we will go to the phones and say good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Nair.
Good morning, sir.
How are you this morning?
I am doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing thanks for that.
All right. What's on your mind?
Briefly on the food security aspect, which we spoke about earlier in the week. And I want to bring it to an area that is being developed in terms of persons who, agriculture, persons who in the agricultural field, and those what we call on hand persons who would have applied their trade in selling goods and services, provisions and goods and vegetables. They're on what is fast becoming a strip-like area. The agriculture department has adopted it just opposite the Newtown playing field. And I am sending out an appeal to the authorities that we to assist those persons there, the proprietors, in terms of a restroom facility and water, if possible. Also, they have tried a night market down at the market facility. I see that as something that can be spurred on and grow, but I want to think that an open environment would be more ideal, and so that strip area can be a location for that. In the future, we will think about lighting, temporary lighting, so that person can what they're doing. But that area, I am sending out an appeal to the authorities that week for some restroom facility and water. Of course, persons apply the trade from about 8, depending on what time of the week, to about 6 or 7. And one would think that they will want to ease themselves, just the restroom. One would want to think that they want to sanitize themselves, just the water. And so that's it for that. On Monday, I think there was the sitting of the United Nations General Assembly, and what caught our attention is our beloved Prime Minister of Barbados, near Motley. It has been a talk globally, not just Caribbean, because that speech that Ms. Motley made stood out. She somewhat said that she wasn't going to be repetitive in terms of what the agenda might have been, and she went out, and she was, in my opinion, was consistent with what I have seen and heard about her for the past month or two. So I just want, us to really see. She said something about 5 platform owners. the Facebook and the WhatsApp and the combined collective wealth, I think she said $9.3 trillion. That's an enormous amount of money. No grudge to them, but what she was getting at is that there are a few that has 90 or 90% of the lion's share of what the world wealth might have been, as opposed to 95% of the people that goes after 10% or thereabouts of the other portion of the wealth. And that is a terrible disparity. She even mentioned 1945 when the United Nations came into inception from what we once knew as the League of Nations, and that 193 nations are a part of that United Nations. And there's no way 5 permanent members should have the sway. So let us put it to a vote, and let us consent to a vote that the system needs to be changed. And I hope we will get that number. With the 54 nations and with the UN and the CARICOM, with the AU and the CARICOM just coming together, we would hope that that African bloc and this Caribbean bloc would garner some numbers. And we would even hope that Central and South America and the Asian nations would garner the rest numbers to take us over the board, so that Antonio Guterres, the gentleman, the UN gentleman, would even have the wherewithal to make some changes to how the United Nations is being run and governed.
Okay.
It is thought that maybe they are governed because some of them, big, think that they pay this lot of money to the UN, and so they have this way and all of the other nations of the world. We say no.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I am well.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. Thank you.
Yes, I don't know if you listen, Gaston Brown and the Grenada Prime Minister and others' speech and back home TDC. Tonight, we cannot have the country hostage for vaccine and then no better. Work must go on. How long we could lock down? The Prime Minister giving money and saying money will give again. For how long? More things there to do. And it's people who don't want the vaccine he give in. He did not bring no corona. It's out of his kind heart. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Out of those first 2 calls there, well, the first caller mentioned an area where vendors are located, food vendors. The pond road there above, just beyond the ball field. There has been some concern about how we improve that area. The caller mentioned some. If we're going to use that area, then we need to equip the area with places that patrons can use, such as bathroom facilities, water, etc. So that's a good point to be made if that's going to be a long-term vendor location. However, I also had a complaint from a citizen about an occasion that they observed where the people pulling up alongside to do business were not really paying attention to allowing other traffic to flow. Depending on how you pull over, not leaving enough space. So we gotta be cognizant of the fact that other people will be driving along that area. So if you pull over in such a way that you don't impede other traffic trying to traverse that area. So we have to be considerate about other people. The location is fine, in my opinion, if we keep it clean and we provide, as we say, the facilities so that people can use when they go to support the vendors. Right? Mention was made of the night market, which I think is a great concept again. I fully support that. The experience, based on the reviews, the experience has been a good one. I think there has been 2 or 3 such events, and from what I gather, the experience has been a positive one. People are really taking to the idea, and so maybe we should look at having more. And I think the plan is to have more. As to the question of whether you should have more at a different location, that's another discussion to have. I think the idea itself had some objectives, which so as to provide a time when people can conveniently support the vendors in the market, and in the market was the issue, the objective. So to promote the market as a place to buy local produce. So it's a discussion you still could have about whether or not you can go to another location and try that same approach, but I don't know what your thoughts are on that. We will go back to the phone, say good morning, welcome to Frank and Candid.
Hotep, greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and Queen Nzinga. Blessed am I, beloved African brother. How are you? How the family?
We're all doing well. How are you doing?
Good, man.
All right.
And the clan too, beloved.
All right.
Now, my beloved, let me first big up Pan-Africanist sister, the Queen Mother herself, Sister Mia Martley, man, and her administration and African peoples in Barbados. My sister, you are so brilliant, man. Anytime we have sisters leading us as African people, way back in ancient times, beloved, things go right. Not to think the brothers, we had some great brothers too, past and, a few present too, but very scarce now, beloved, very scarce. And beloved, let me say, I know people label Barbados as Little Britain, Little England, and all kind of. But if you dig in deeply, brothers and sisters and brothers, you know African people in Barbados, they went to Africa. Barbados had some great Pan-Africanists, one of our ancestors went to Africa. And they even helped out. Then Ghana gained its independence in 57. They went to Africa and helped great Pan-Africanists, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And then they got the little thing because, some, I don't know what the percentage of Caucasian, in Barbados, but they just stop that crap. I mean, you got to say what it is, but we got to bring up the Pan-African aspect of it. Barbados, man. And so, think to like Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, but especially Trinidad and Tobago, George Padmore and others, C.L.R. James and down the line, beloved, and up to Giddys Granger, Macandal Dagger, same person, George Weeks and others, beloved, and the great Kwame to women, and then the greatest Pan-Africanist. So, you know, our people been there, but what are we doing now? Especially the young people. Some of African people have lost their ways. And I just call them the young people, man, the young sisters and brothers. Take up that mantle. I know your grandparents and parents let you down. Some of them, the vast majority of them. And that's no lie. But the young people got to continue the fight, struggle. Now, beloved, I am saying, beloved, this is what I was, like I said, I have no monopoly on anything. And who want to back, let them back. That don't phase but the number one way or the other. But if our people in St. Kitts Nevis, I'm talking about this administration, an administration before could have all so-called High Commissioner to England, Canada, and all over. Why not? And the people must demand that about Ministry for Pan-African Affairs. Let me repeat that. A ministry for Pan-African Affairs, and a Pan-African, whether he or she is for, you know, is a representative, which I know is going to be very tough. But you could appoint them as a senator and give them that thing separate from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This is going to just deal with African affairs, starting on the African continent, the diaspora. Anyway, the African people could set up 4 embassies on the African continent, 1 or 2 in South and Central America. I'm not talking about now, right now. But that must be done in the next couple of years, because no money is scarce and first things come first. Got to make sure our people, you know, food and everything, and health care and education and everything. So that should be done. But I know that this administration, they could prove me wrong, don't have the courage, the Pan-Africanness in them to make such a move. But I'm going to keep on pushing. And Brother Africa, I need you. And Brother Journey, Brother Kalonji, and others, Queen Mother Henry. Let me push this, man. We got to demand. We don't let politicians do what they want. We demand what we need. And that must be done expeditiously. And in closing, Dr. Harris, I still want to know who owns Kansas pasture. We demand to know, the people of DB demand to know, and I'm going to keep pushing it. Brother, thanks again for hearing me. Keep up the great works. Pan-Africanism our parish. Well, love my African brother.
All right. We got a caller. Good morning. Welcome.
Again.
Yes.
Boats, Mr. Nyers, boats start to come from next week, and big plane come in. So if the vaccine to prevent the spread, I'm begging people, please take the vaccine. The country need to open up fully. We can't let nobody come in and get sick. The Prime Minister will get the blame. That's what they want. Stop abuse him. He's doing good. Have a good weekend.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Which is okay. Which is true. Yeah, we do have another ship in here next Tuesday, right? Tuesday? Or next week sometime. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, man. I just want to make sure you can hear me, man. You can hear me clearly?
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that caller in from New York, man. Very interesting guy, man. But I want to ask him a question. Would he consider, I know you normally give you that speech at his intro, would he consider maybe acknowledging some of the other African and Pan-African leaders in his intro, and have like a rotation so that persons out here can gain more knowledge as to other persons who have contributed towards the black struggle? Okay, switching gears real quick. I want to acknowledge an elderly gentleman from Cotton Ground. His name is Mr. Vilmot Jones. That's Vilmoth Jones. And I want to acknowledge some persons there in Cotton Ground who has been supporting him with an issue. Persons like Rose, Miss John up the road, and Tita Lawrence, and Omel. I just want to send a thank you to the people there in Cotton Ground Village in Nevis who has been supporting him. And I want to let everybody there in Cotton Ground know that he's alive and kicking, and they will hopefully be seeing him in Cotton Ground soon. That's Mr. Vilmot Jones. I want to acknowledge him as an elderly person. He's currently 93 years old, making 94 in 2 months. And I just want to acknowledge him, and that's coming straight directly from all his children scattered around Nevis, St. Martin, North America. With that said, man, I want to wish the Federation of St. Nevis the best of luck going forward with this COVID situation, and just follow the science with the vaccine. You know, this debate, it's time to move past the debate. All persons has to do is follow the science with the vaccine, and they would realize that the vaccine might be the way out. But as far as keep closing down the country, I don't believe in that. It's time to move the country forward, so the government have to look forward towards the next step of moving St. Kitts and Nevis forward. And I wish the Federation the best, and that's my contribution for the day. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of birthdays and so on, America's oldest living President Jimmy Carter is celebrating today, 97 years old. Celebrating quietly today. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Tony.
Yes, good morning.
I just want to tell all national thinkers to love the country. Do not only love the country when the party in. Because it seems to me like a load of nationals here who living in the country and some out the country. Only when the party in government, they love the country, they want to do for the country, and that is bad. But Tony, I'm telling you, over the 20 years of the farm administration, me, Mr. Politics, you know me anymore, I'm really farming. And I contribute everywhere to the Bunchwell School, no matter what I want. One time I had some problem with the school to paint. And I went and I do my contribution with the, I think with the Rotary Club, one of those clubs. And I do my contribution, put something there. So I really want and love the country. Do not only love the country when the party government, because look, we're in a pandemic. And suppose some people go and do what they can do to help out the country. They say kind of negative things. And I want to commend all the people who contribute to the social service. I hear Mr. Hamilton read it out in here yesterday. All who contribute to the COVID fund and contribute to the people who managing the COVID, the frontline workers. I want to commend Mr. Hamilton as the minister for that, as the general affairs minister, to do what he can do, and the people do what they can do to help the country. Not only when the party in. Because it seems to me right now, they're taking this COVID situation and make it a political issue. And if you're in that, but I tell you, all over the whole world is here happening all over the whole world. The same thing, all the government them, all the ministers them, all the scientists them, the doctors them saying, take the vaccine because the vaccine is the only way out. But I tell you, let somebody get a chance because the Federation, I think it can need it.
All right. Okay. All right. So, there's a lot there. You know, this whole vaccination issue is one that has gotten so much play. So many things going on with that. There's information and disinformation all the way around. I don't know why, as we had a discussion this week about politics and the divisiveness of politics, and all of that was part of our this week discussion. And for some reason, politics kind of end up in some places where it really has no place, and you know. So I mean, all the way around, all sides, you know. So I don't know that we get anywhere with that kind of approach to any issue, whether it's vaccine or some other issue. We don't get anywhere with that, so gotta stay away from that. Alright? We all know what we gotta do. We got a brain. We can figure out stuff because we're smart people. Got a call? Let's go take that call. Good morning, welcome.
Morning, Mr. Noyos.
Hey, good morning.
I was calling since Monday, but I couldn't get in at all, boy. Try.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about food security, right?
Yes.
But I noticed that everything people want to blame government on.
Mm-hmm.
In the 60s, me and you, when I will go and put your area meat, right? You can't put that there today. If you go down to the 12 o'clock, most of the people are Kentucky, boy. If you got 60,000 people as population, you think it. About 40 young people. And then parents don't buy for what they want. Sometimes parents ask children today what they want. I don't know about you, but my mother never asked me what I want. They used to ask the man in the house what they want. Who bring in money, not who not bring in money. You understand?
Yeah.
And when me hear people call from all overseas, and even here talking about government with land and so, that you want more land to farm, so I become hungry. You can't hungry. But the people who can't put bread food there. You can't put that there. You can't put this there. They don't want them. Even my children mother sell food. Somebody come buy soup, they don't want no bread food. They don't want no tanya. They just want the soup and the relish. What you going to do? Shut down Kentucky? Shut down Domino's? You can't shut them down. People are live by them. People are work by them. Are they most of the people eat? Are they most of the young people eating today? So how are we going to change? Things change, generation change things, and you change all over the world, so young people are more. Because I'm telling this afternoon, you see me, the thing coming down one plate. I Kentucky, them come from, sometimes I don't know what they got in the wrap up. You understand? So, these things, we talk about them because we got a program. But these things only wait for time because they're not going to change, because they don't meet it. I meet my mother, I read cane barefoot. When I find, and I have to go school barefoot. When I find them kind of story, they know. For children go school barefoot, between all them people, they're going to get embarrassed. People going to talk, going back home. So, it's a change. I don't know about you, but it's a big change. Because 60 plus ideas, so I know we're gone, I don't know we're here. So I could talk about these things every day. Between me and people, we talk this conversation. And this thing ain't going to change. Because I go to market tomorrow, I go buy me tanya, I go buy me yam, I go buy me potato, and a cooking soup. You understand?
Yeah, I hear you.
My children them come by me, they don't want them live a piece of relish there, they eat it. Even my children them, who know how me live. You understand? So this thing ain't gonna change, you know. This thing is such that people gotta stop them government for what people eat and what people got in their house. Alright, all the best.
Okay. Alright. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yes, Brother Niles. Oh, Brother Niles, let me respond to the brother, my African brother who live up here. I don't know where up here he lives. But yeah, a conscious brother, and I listened to him for a couple, about 3.5 years now been hearing him calling in, you know. And brother, you know anyone. I will mention, that's why I always mention our great African ancestors. But for me, my two favorites, you know, lack of a better word, is the most honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and Queen Nzinga. Not to take away anything else. I had great Pan-Africanists before the most honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And he had great sisters who contribute. Look, Sister Queen Mother Winnie Mandela, one of my favorites also. And I wish every sister ain't gonna be like Sister Winnie Mandela, but I just wish half of the African woman on this planet was like Sister Winnie Mandela. So my brother, you know anyone? You just mention them just like me, brother. Like I always say, I don't have monopoly on anything, but enough alone cannot do it, beloved brother. So you know anyone, you just call their name, whether the ancestors are the living. You know, and let me just don't hear about Marcus of the Woods. He should have been our first national hero. Marcus of the Woods. A lot of our people don't know who it is. Who is he? I don't like to say was, because in the African tradition, even if you make a transition, you're still alive. When we call your name and do what for walk in your footsteps, you will be alive. And you see, beloved, you got a lot of work to do, man. A lot of work to do. We must pick up our people, our ancestors, every day, beloved. And elder, how often you hear our people mention Elder Washi? Great man, great educator. The college should have named off of him instead of a high school. That's the thing our people, beloved brother. You know anybody who believe us? You do that, beloved. I know you know thing, and it's all, you know what I mean, you're an educated brother. And little school in Pan-Africanism. But listen, we never stop learning, beloved brother, until we make our transition. So, in closing, I call upon all of our people. Mention our ancestors, their great contribution, and those who are alive, beloved, our great Pan-Africanists who are alive. And even if you're not Pan-Africanist and you do great things for our people, mention their names, beloved brother. Mention their names, my sister. Mention their names. Brother, thanks again for hearing me. Keep up the great works. Pan-Africanism and peace. One love, my beloved.
Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Nayas.
Good morning.
You know, it's amazing to see every morning, every day, Samson come on the television, on the radio program with you, and talking a lot of nonsense. You talking about Winnie Mandela? Winnie Mandela, you know what she used to do? She owned black people and them. Take a tire, put it round the neck and light them a fire. There is where her husband had to depart from her for the wicked things she do. You understand me? And then you come in and talking a lot of nonsense about Mandela this, Mandela that, Winnie Mandela this, Winnie Mandela that. I don't know why you don't go look in history and talk proper thing when you come on the radio. Every week, every day, call and you're talking a lot of nonsense. You know? Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's take a break now, and when we come back on the other side, we got a caller waiting. Okay, let's take that call before we go to the break. Caller, go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Nair.
Yes, good morning.
Mr. Nair, United Nations just finished the 76th anniversary of the General Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
And really, 76 years of that body. And today, it hasn't offered mankind much hope. I listened to Prime Minister Motley, and I listened to most of her speech. I would say her lamentation in regard to who would stand up for the poor nation of the world. Well, I got news for good news for Miss Mayor Motley. At a time when the world is reeling from leadership, lack of leadership, way back in Isaiah chapter 9, it was prophesied there in verse 6, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom to order it, and to establish it with judgment, with justice, from henceforth and forever. And so, Mr. Nias, we have hope
for the second coming of Jesus Christ. When I look at the composition of the nations of the world in United Nations, China, Belarus, all those countries that really is ill-treating their people, you know, and then some of them are holding seat, important seat in the body, you know, and I look and I said, well, how these nations who ill-treat like Russia, the opposition leader there is in jail. It seemed like he would die in jail because they bring up another charge against him there. So that he could be found guilty 10 more years in jail. And so, with all of these countries in the United Nations, and all the commitment in regards to climate change they are making, where they are making a lot of their money in regards to the economy, in coals and other things that contribute to the greenhouse effect. And so I have good news for the world. Jesus Christ is coming back to set up his government on this earth. And whether we want to believe it or not, with this pandemic, it seems like it's getting worse. In Russia, they had the biggest death and positive case in recent times. And quite a number of countries have been seen increasing in the rise in the positive cases and deaths. And it seems to me there is no end. Many people are losing their job in the airline industry, in the basketball professional in there. Some of them can't go to states to play, otherwise they would not allow them. They're going to lose their money if they do not play. And all around the world there is confusion. And we have hope.
Okay.
We have hope in Jesus Christ.
We will take a break.
Thank you very much.
And we will come back on the other side with more conversation. We will be back.
It's the end of Summer Madness sale, and it's only at Courts Optical for a limited time only. Buy one pair of glasses and get the second pair free. Plus, if you come in before September 17th, you will get an extra 30% discount or special offer when you trash your old pair of frames in the Optical Price Bin. No cash, no problem. Shop with Ready Finance and pay $0 for 60 days. Plus, walk away with a free pair of sunglasses. Make an appointment online today at courtsoptical.com and ask us about our free blue block and free eye exams. Beat the summer blues and save on your new eyewear with our end of summer madness sale. Terms and conditions apply. Optical, value you can see.
Okay, welcome back to Frank and Candid on this Friday morning, start of the weekend. We're taking your calls and whatever is on your mind on this open Friday. Let's go to the phones. Say good morning. Okay, we lost that caller. All right. Okay, 465-2555 and 718-577-2916. Let's go to the phones. Good morning.
Yeah, but tell me again.
Yes.
But tell me, when I listen to some people coming on the radio and criticizing, right? Some people just come and criticizing fake and just talk because they talk fake. Or you just listen to a lady come on the radio almost every day. A big supporter of Pam back in the past. And let me tell you something. Pam could not do no wrong for she. And everything she criticized Pam do back in the past, talking about Pam back in the past, criticizing Pam. I want to know if them people real. If I used to support a political party with Ododo, and because the thing now, and you got some differences with them, you can criticize them, and you was one supporting them to back up with what they do. You understand? Just some people just come out anyway, they just criticize it, and have nothing to say, nothing to do, and just a waste of time sometimes. Okay then, Tony.
All right, true to the name, Mr. Politics. All right, we got a call. Let's take this call. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Knight.
Good morning.
I decided not to really go into the shadows, but I was compelled to do. Gentlemen, Nabu mentioned about calling the names of the departed one, the ancestors. Fine, but there are other things we need to do to them. They're still a part of the family, and we do it partially when we put flowers on their graveside, or we visit them on an annual basis, you know, the birthday and the like. Just like how our parents departed and they fed us before they departed, that we become big men and women today. Just like they're on a journey in that world. That's a world that we don't know much about, but we are in this world. And just like how they have been fed us in this world, they need to be fed on their journey in that world. So by partially bringing some flowers, yes, flowers, aroma, not plastic flowers. Aroma is a good scent, especially a flower they had liked in their lifetime. Cool with the flowers. But take a fruit, just rest it there and ask them to eat. The natural environment, the elements, nothing perish. Nothing perish. Everything is energy, and it will reach them. Take a fruit and feed your ancestors. Apart from calling the name, yes, but tell them, Dad, Mom, by whatever name you know them as, here is something to eat. Thank you for feeding me when you were here. It's reciprocal now. I do it because you are in that world and you're on a journey. Safe journey. As we bid safe journey in our parliament, when we say, we wish this bill safe journey. We have to wish our bill. The concept of a restaurant is from that world, where they would go and rest and eat something where we, the living, would have provided for them. This is real, and we have to reconnect with our ancestors, our parents, because the Bible says, honor your mother and father. It did not say when they, as long as they are alive, but the honor is the honor forever. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you for your input there. All right, we will. We get close to the top of the hour. We'll take a few more calls on this Friday. 465-2555, 718-577-2916. Whatever is on your mind, whatever the issue may be, feel free, because it's an open phone. Just keep it clean, keep the personalities out, keep the character assassination out, and we'll get through this Friday morning. Hope we got our plans set for the weekend. Observing all of the protocols, keeping ourselves safe. We are hoping that we start to see some changes. Not that we will ever, I believe, get back to any real, what should I say, resemblance of what we had before this pandemic, but we try on our endeavor best to get somewhere close to that. But that will depend on what we do over the short term here, and that will determine where we and our country go from here. As somebody pointed out, we are starting to see how much we can rebuild the tourist sector. It has some restrictions, some limitations on what we are doing as we, as they say, practice for what's to come. So we will push ahead, because we are a resilient people generally, and so we will push ahead until we get as close to what was our normal situation as we possibly can. there are a number of things we can do to help us along, but it's a decision you're going to have to make, or we all going to have to make. All right, let's go to the phone. Okay. Good morning, you're live.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Nair.
So,
I don't know, over the past couple of days, if you hear the latest news coming from a special radio station saying that they'll have election in November. But what I want to tell the gentleman, that is not fish pot you set in. That you go out and you set your fish pot, and you go out there and you could pull up your fish pot and get some fish. Sometimes you go there, you pull up your fish pot, and all you see in there is a big mole. Because the mole don't get in there and eat up all the smaller fish. So, if you think all of them who backing up his ignorance and figure to themselves that they got people tired out there so they could go back and just pull them in and say, well, they're going to vote for them. They may end up getting back in. What the government here right now, they are trying their best, they are working. Nobody can say there is not working, they are working. But the politics and the greed with some of them figure the government is not doing good. Like, they have one there who was in government, he has done nothing in government, he come out, he relaxed himself for a while, and now he back on the forefront telling government what to do and how the government should run, because they ain't get to be the advisors for when people come in, that they could hand people and pass them on to the government and get the big ton load of money. So that instead the one with the peer, who had the peer to do, and because the government gets social security and other company to the peer, he wants to crucify the government. But this government gonna function. It's gonna function and it's gonna stay there. All I have to say to all of them others in government who are listening to this crazy man on the radio talking a lot of ignorance, they better think twice before they make the move. God bless them, Nayas. Have a nice weekend.
all right. Thank you. You too. All right, all this talk about fish pot and I feel like I need to go fishing this weekend. Been a while. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Niles.
Good morning.
Yes, we did call her before, Mr. Rock. He's so true, right? With the points that he make. We need to really go out and support we own. All of we mothers and fathers who done pass and so. We're supposed to go and clean up the grave and do certain things. Cherish them too, not just for the heroes them. Them are heroes to we too. A lot of burying ground, the people they love on over there, grass, trees, all kind of things high up on them. Need to go and clean them. So what the caller was saying was very true. Not just the Mr. Butcher and the Southwell and these so to big up. We want to big up too. So go and clean the grave them. That's my little input. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that input. Back to the phones. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Nias. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Happy Friday, first Friday in October. This month will make me 21 years I have my bar.
Oh, good.
Mr. Nias, I refuse because some people just tell me just reject the rejector. Right? Mr. Nias, you know, everybody just take a few weeks sometime out for their business. As they just say a little holiday because you're there all through the year. I don't know what this chronic machine, this garbage truck machine to come in and I talk about. Oh, you ain't opening my bar. Mr. Naya say up in a clean environment. I just clean, I map out my place night to 4. I don't have no mice to run up and down in my place. And I selling people Tom run, I beg them leave me alone. I'm feeling okay for today Friday. Thank God I live to see today. without any aches and pain, because many are gone by. Leave me here. Younger than me, a little older than me. I ain't in nothing. I refuse, you know. But I just come to hear my views. Because you see, they come on again this morning. They don't say what I said last night to Mr. Patches. They come on. I don't know. They don't leave me alone. I never bring my problem to them. How much financial this and that I have. I never told them about it. I don't know how they get the news. They just fast, chronic cabbage things need to go over by cannery dump and leave me alone. I ain't have nothing for them. Please, please, the whole world hearing me. I don't know, he mixing me up about politics. I hear by myself. I ain't see a politician come here and ask me in this COVID what we have here. If you're hungry or not, I beg them to leave me alone here. I'm heading for my age and I feel so fine. I hope I could be feeling just healthy and wealthy. I want to be healthy and not wealthy. I'm not going to buy no Chinese food and want to come rich in December. I'm millionaire. You have a good day. Talking about my health. And down by the terminal where unhealthy by the bathroom. Coming talking nonsense last night. My health is me. It's my health, it's me going in the bathroom. I have to say about it.
Okay.
I ain't living in a rat house like him.
Okay. I think they're just concerned. They just love you, that's all. Alright. We got a caller? Okay. Alright. I think that's going to do it for us today and for this week. Thank you all for your input throughout the week and throughout today. And let's keep trying to elevate our discussions, and let's continue to develop our nation. We'll be back next week, if it is to be, right here on Monday, same time. I'm Tony Nias. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. We'll talk again real soon.